So the little murder plot that I am endured under by black men right now, it's only because I'm speaking the truth and they don't want to have to face it. So they always just default to violence. Default to the knife, the gun, the machete. Default to the celeb, disembody a lady. All that anger that is unwarranted. Really, frankly, you brought me to a place where I am finally going to be arguing. Apparently, allegedly, there are better black men out there, but I've yet to meet one, and I'm nearly 40, okay? I've endured an entire decade of mistreatment by black men, and in this entire time, not even a single one has stepped up in a way that is responsible and goes all the way to the end. That's what's good. Full of exploitation, however, also full of entitlement. This here is not a discussion where we're gonna have a debate, almost like it's a nice fit in high school, where it could go any way. Really, truly, anybody could win. It's not a battle between men and women. It's a battle between wrong and right. Black men, you have been wrong against black women. And as supportive as we have been for you, you basically you owe us respect for standing by you when nobody else did. Only reason at all why even any white women want to date you now, why Indian women want to date you now, why women outside of the black community, is because we stood for you so long until they saw value in you. And then you go and you treat us like trash afterwards. Like, you abandon us. Ain't no white girl would ever endure the level of insanity that I have endured, because she would at least have family that would be there to stand for her. But in the black community, even black uncles, black dads, black brothers, and black basically men that are family members of a woman will abandon her to the mercy of some strangers out there in these streets. So really and truly, given that I have got absolutely nothing to work with, this here is a ubiquitous application of random nonsense behavior on the part of all black men. My life is a travesty and an embarrassment to the entire black community, especially our men. The fact that you have subjugated me to the tyranny of this nuisance in America is beyond me. Because why would I want you? You have endured me through so much trauma. All I see when I see your skin tone is the fact that you are just going to inevitably mistreat me, disrespect me in front of your boys, and then in private, when it's just the two of us, you're gonna want to hug me and make me forget that you ever treated me like I was nothing in front of your friends. I can't. The lack of regard for women in the black community is exorbitant, and nobody is there for us, including us. Black women are not there for each other because they're so busy taking care of themselves, every man for himself. And so no one is taking care of the black girl, not even black girls. No one is taking care of black women because an abandoned and neglected person struggles to look out for anyone other than themselves. And so I can see why black women aren't even looking out for me, because who in the world is looking out for them? There's no energy, don't you see? There's no resources left in them to take care of anyone other than themselves. You have created a brood of selfish women because no one else is looking out for them. But Tina, when it comes to rioting on your behalf, standing for you, talking all different kinds of things about how you have been misplaced, misjudged, mistreated, and then you go on right ahead and treat us as badly as you allegedly have been treated. On that day, then the single most disregarded and disrespected demographic on the earth are not so much black men, but black women. We are the ones that ain't nobody looking out for. It is no wonder I've spent nearly a decade groveling, and now I'm facing a casket. I'm facing a funeral because black men still feel entitled to respect after acting so disrespectfully. You still feel entitled to respect after all that. All of you, like proper. I have got trauma, PTSD, a hard knock. I don't know if I'll ever get married, but you must understand, it's not going to be a black man. I am not going to experiment. I'm not going to dare try it out. I'm not going to try and see if it gets better. I'm not going to risk my life that way, because every black woman that has given any of you a chance has found themselves still peeping out with their heads like a periscope from a submarine, looking around to see if it gets better than this. They've all tried to see if they can't do better, and every time they hop from one black man to another, it's just the same thing over and over again. A lot of them starting out alright, and then next thing they go awry. I'm not going to be endured through that, so if I must be single the rest of my days, then I guess whatever, let me do that. But that's just the thing, you see. The dream that I got about you black men, Luna, hanging out in these cults, running amok, wreaking havoc in the lives of women, insisting that they be devastated. You, because of the fact that I'm infooning over veleni bolil, yeah, have then determined Uguti, I'm going to be made a barren woman, a wasted woman that will go nowhere doing nothing. Like a decision has been made, in the occult and by several amateurs who are lone rangers doing spells by themselves that I will never work again. I will never be okay. I can right because I rejected them. Well, I mean, goodness gracious, then the casket is at this point a very beautiful home for me. At this point, I'm going home, I'm going home, I'm going home, I'm going home. Yeah, that's exactly what is neat for me. It's like a cushy, comfortable bed on a winter evening where it's just blizzarding cold outside, frosty. Yeah. It's like a warm bed with an electric blanket and a hot water bottle and a bowl of soup. A casket, in comparison to being with a black man, feels like that bed. It feels like a cushy, comfortable, warm home on a blizzardy, wintry evening. Who in the world marries such a dastardly man? You are like a Nazi. Do you understand, black men? The way that you are towards black women is genocidal. It is genocidal. You insist on killing if you don't get your way. And yet you also insist that people stand by you and riot and cry and cause all different kinds of havoc on earth, looting even stores, just to stand for the fact that you were mistreated by the police. You were mistreated by your boss. You were passed up for promotion. You shut up! Because frankly, the stronger you get and the more people stand by you, the more destructive you also are. It's unfortunate. No white women are prepared to confess just what a menace you are, black men, when you date them, when you marry them. It's only unfortunate that nobody else is willing to give us evidence as black women that we are not the cause for why black men are like this. You're just like that. White women can't confess it unless they have gotten beaten by you, unless they've been thrown up against a television screen by a black man, unless they have been raped by a black man, unless they have basically endured the kind of violence that the police can tabulate on a piece of paper. They cannot complain. They cannot raise the fact that you are cold, aloof, removed, despondent in marriages, relationships. You are dastardly, you are uncaring, you are unfeeling, you are absolutely just unfathomably removed. And they also will not admit the fact that you do absolutely everything in your power to make women feel like they're nothing when you're in the presence of your boys. A society proliferating so much crap, and the only women that have enabled you to even gain any clout at all in society, you now today are treating like the scum of the earth, bubblegum underneath your feet. You're letting them die fecklessly. You're letting them die in Jefela recklessly. On the side of the street, we are abandoned. We are left in Jefela to merely exist. Black women and black girls are just disregarded. There was an experiment done on YouTube using a little 11-year-old black girl and a little 11-year-old white girl who they both left on the street, of course monitoring them from a close distance to see what's gonna happen when you just leave a little girl standing there, but not 11-year-old, sorry, but like it could have been 5 or 6-year-old, and they just put a camera there just to watch what's gonna happen when you leave holding a little teddy bear, a little white girl and a little black girl, and the black girl was just walked by everybody in society. Everyone, including black people, just walked right by her. The white girl, within something like 35 seconds, somebody were like, "Hi, what are you doing here? Where are your parents? Why are you here by yourself?" That level of disregard for black girls is precisely because of the fact that nobody in the black community is taking care of anybody. And so, if at all, charity begins at home, what incentive does everybody else have to take care of the black child? What? We don't take care of our own children. We don't. Black women's mistreatment of each other and neglect and abandonment of each other is due to their disregard and mistreatment and lack of love by black men. And so they wear a every man for himself constitution to a point where even mothers will abandon daughters to just suffer and rot. So we are dealing with an epidemic of black kids just being left in jail whenever they're abandoned on the street. Even though the child is clean, you can tell she comes from a home. She is not a hobo, and yet you will literally walk around like it's normal. A 4-year-old black girl, a 5-year-old black girl in a mall, just stranded in Jefela, walking around. You will still wait in Jefela for this kid to be found by a crying, wailing, screaming mother wondering, where's my kid? So black people, how ignored and disregarded you are, fine, you can blame it on systematic, oppression as long as you want to. Like you can blame it on past hates, past hurts, past whatnot. Do you? But whatever random rubbish you are today, I'm sorry. Not even slaves were like that. Systematically oppressed black people. I was watching some show on Netflix where they were showing some era back in the day of slavery where black people were being treated really harshly. And there was so much concert and camaraderie in the black communities. In spite of how they were mistreated, they had each other's backs. Right now, whatever's going on in 2023 is just rubbish. Where it is that everyone is ignoring us, including us. There is nothing left here, don't you see? In the black community, it's just empty and barren all over. All over. The level of camaraderie that slaves or people in oppressive regimes had is all gone. Like, the black community in South Africa was far better knit together during apartheid than whatever random rubbish is going on right now. People were far closer. Like, my mom and her brother and sisters still have a relationship today because they were raised in the days of apartheid. That's what's good. However, my mother has got children that don't talk to each other. My cousins and I are separated. I don't have the kind of family I grew up in. They kept themselves in a bunch because they grew up in oppression. But the born frees, the kids that were born already roaming these streets unfettered, they're the ones that could not give a rat's behind about each other. My cousins are the ones that are just leaving me to rot. My sisters, that's black people for you. And after my mother enjoyed freedom, she saw it fit to abandon her own children. So it turns out that when black people are enabled to live with leisure, when they're left to live in leisure now, all the things that make for a community and a people just fall out the window. It just becomes this hateful, cold, ominous, every man for himselfness. And black men, given that you are the patriarchy, for crying out loud, you had a responsibility to bring everybody together. Women are struggling to even nurture children because you're so unloving. You literally hate women so much that you teach each other to mistreat women in each other's presence. You consider it a character flaw when you actually dote over women. So no, I'm not going anywhere. However, I am also not going to end up with a black man. If at all I end up with anybody, it's not happening. I'm not going to subjugate myself to the tyranny of finding emptiness and trying to see if I can't find a better thing again and again and again and again. Just the past 2-3 nights alone, I've been dealing with so much spiritual attack from nothing but black men. First it was that animal from America, and now it's a cult in South Africa that has determined that I will never be okay again. Casting spells on me to make sure I never breathe because I I never breathe because I don't want a rapist. I think that's okay. I'll never breathe because I don't want a murderer. I think that's okay. I'll never breathe because I don't want a thief. That's okay. I'll never breathe because I don't want some man that's gonna beat me up and like literally throw my body against the wall just because I said something he doesn't like. No, you know, it's okay. Like, I would much rather cease to exist, cease to live. I'd rather die than end up with such an abusive man. I'm sorry, no, I'm not gonna do it. You're so coercive and so entitled, and everybody helps you along. In spite of everybody helping you along, instead of doing better because you see people have empathy on you, you just become worse and worse. You are riotous. You are full of incendiary insensitivity against your women. And you cannot even help women along to take care of the children that you bring into this world. You can't help them love them. Because when a woman is unloved by her husband, she becomes a menace of a mother. Do you understand? You are cold, and you mistreat women, and you manipulate them with spurts, and then when they don't want you, you say, you know what? The casket is far better than that cold icicle igloo that you call a home. That you want to drag me into kankani or starve? I'm sorry. Kifilanga malnutrition at this point trumps your house any day. If I gotta be frozen for the rest of my days, rather than be with a black man, like I told you, those freezing life conditions are at that point like a nice little hot water bottle and an electric blanket, ekushi, in the middle of a blizzard in winter. It is far more comfortable to be inside a casket than in the house of a black man. I am good. I'm signing out in Christ's name. Bye.